What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Special guest in the building. Needs very little introduction. Don Robbie in the building. What's happening, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
You're good, man. Yeah, listen, just before we get into it, I saw your YouTube channel launched yesterday. I saw the show with you and Expressions. That show was hilarious, bro. Expressions got to be one of the funniest people on YouTube, ain't he, bro?
He is. Yeah, it was good. It was great, man. And it's gone down really well. We've had a great reception to the first one, and subscribers are growing. Got loads of views for it in the first day alone. And yeah, no, it's fantastic. I'm really pleased with it. We got another bit of content coming out today as well. Called the Face Off. And what I'm going to do a lot with this channel is try to, because it's not just, obviously it's not an Arsenal channel, it's like a football sports channel. So it sort of allows me to bring in a lot of different influencers from different clubs. So like we've got a bit of content coming out later that features it's all around the City Tottenham game. So it's got a City and a Tottenham guy, and it's really, really good. We're doing a watch along to the Tottenham City game, sort of a Don Robbie watch along. It's going to be very different to what's out there at the moment. And and every week we're going to be having lots of different guests and influencers on. But yeah, it's got off to a nice start, man. I've been really happy. And we're people, please subscribe.
Oh man, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? I'm sure everyone will go and subscribe. Will you be uploading quite regular on there then?
Yeah, obviously not as regular as AFTV, you know what I mean? But we will be, every week there'll be 3-4 videos at least uploaded onto the platform, if not more, you know what I mean? But so it's going to be good, man. I'm really, really, really enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Because on top of it, it's Swole Campbell. That was that was funny. That was one of X's. He is a funny guy, man.
He's hilarious.
It's gonna be a lot of work, man. But listen, I'm grateful to do lots of work because there's people at the moment sat at home can't do anything. You know what I mean? They can't do their jobs. So the good thing for us is that we can still kind of, and it's not the same because we're not at games and stuff like that, but we can still kind of do our job. So I'm happy.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, obviously you're on this detox, and I see you putting up the thing you're saying.
Water, bro. Coconut water. That's the only thing you can have that's got any flavor in it.
So you ain't ate food for how long is it now? 11 days?
Hey, hold on. 12.
12 days.
Gotta push you back a day, man. 12.
Gotta push you back.
12 days, man. And I'm telling you, boy, I'm near the finishing line now because it's a 14-day detox. And you know what? The weird thing about it, Curtis, right? Is like it's these guys called Electric Docs. I met him in America. It's a guy called Dr. Amsu. So the last time when Arsenal was in America, he's a big Arsenal fan because he's born in England, but he lives in Atlanta. And so I met him. I've met him before. I met him in New Orleans before as well. He's a massive Arsenal fan, right? But he does all these supplements and things like that for your health. And I remember he gave me some stuff. Like, it's all natural stuff as well. There's nothing chemical. It's all natural plant-based type supplements. And I remember he gave me some stuff and he goes, they sent me some stuff when the whole Corona thing was going on, and they go, they're all natural things, take them. And I honestly think those things helped me, even though I caught the coronavirus, and luckily I got through it, and it hit me down for a few days, but I got through it. And I reckon, I think that those things helped me to get through it because, they're really, really good. And then he said to me, he goes, we're doing this 14-day detox. Because if you look at the whole COVID thing, black people have been even dying more than anybody else. And a lot of it's to do with our diet and stuff like that. And he said, I want you to come on this 14-day detox. So I'm like, 14 days. I go, hold on, that's 2 weeks. Right? I said, boy, I go 14 days without food. He goes, yeah. So he's going, well, I'm going, well, what, you know, all right, boy, you know what I mean? I said, okay, I'll do it, right? So I said I'll go on it, but I thought that you'd be able to drink tea, coffee,
Yeah.
you know. He
No.
goes, no, man. He goes, no. He goes, all you're allowed to have on this thing, you take the supplements,
Yeah.
and then you can drink water, you can drink sparkling water, and you can drink coconut water, and that's it. So I said, why? What a hot drink? He goes, you drink hot water. Okay, and hot water's disgusting.
I'm drinking hot water, you know.
I mean, I wake up in the morning and I get hot water with I put lemon in it, and it's still horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to admit, right, I've not felt hungry over the 14 days, but I so long for food.
Yeah.
It's the taste you miss, because this thing, after a while, is so bland.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, man, please, man, some food. I just want to taste something.
Take some food, man.
And I was in the office. We was at the studio yesterday, and I'm there, right, and all of them, man, you know them not already. They're all eating. And you smell all the food, man. You're like, I'm not hungry. I'm not desperate to eat it, but I would just like to taste something different in my mouth. But it's been good though. I've lost a bit of weight. You know what I mean? I've lost over a stone in weight.
Wow.
And I feel better. I've been sleeping better. It has been really, really good. And I just feel like it's been a nice test of my discipline.
Yeah.
Been good. But man, I can't wait for it to finish. And I'm telling you, my last day is Sunday, yeah. And I'll tell you, as 1 minute past midnight.
Yeah. That's it. Food.
Food.
You probably won't be able to eat that much. I bet you'll get full quick. So what is it?
You know what? I don't need to even eat much. I just need to taste some stuff in my mouth, man. I just need to taste. It's been, I mean, coconut water. That's the only thing of any taste. And I'm fed up with this now. Fed up with drinking.
You know, sometimes I do like intermittent fasting to try and, keep body weight down. So I'll go 7-8 hours without eating. You see, by the time 7-8 hours is up, I got cramp in my belly. I need food. So I don't know how you go 12 days, bro.
No, you know what? I'm not. There was one day, there's been a couple of days like I've had a stitch. A lot of people wouldn't realize, right? But last week when we was doing the watch along on AFTV, I had a stitch, man. I was like, right, it's budding me up, right? But I'm live. So I'm I'm trying to keep it professional, man. But I was like, the stitch, you know, when you get a stitch, it's
in your side, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's the only thing really that sort of hit me.
Yeah.
But I've honestly not felt hungry. But you miss food, you know what I mean? But it's definitely doable, and I think the benefits of it are really, really good. So I'm pleased I've gone on it, man. And if I can, I'm gonna look on it like a bigger. If I make that 14 days, which I'm gonna make it, man.
Yeah.
A massive, for me, it's like a real personal achievement. So I'll be really, really happy.
Yeah, man. I'll rate you for that, bro. Let me just read these out quick. Joseph said, my two favorites, Curtis and Robbie. Good luck with your new channel, Robbie. Predictions for Leeds. We'll do a prediction towards the end. Anyway, and, let me just read this one as well. There was another one. Where's the other one? Geo said, big up, Curtis. Do you think you should start worrying about Tierney? He spends more time on the medical table than on the pitch. Keep up the great work. I mean, we'll talk about that as well. This last question to you here. Martin said, big up, Curtis. Robbie, will your nutritional habits change as a result?
No, you know what? Last year as well, Curtis, right? When the pandemic hit, I literally went on a vegan diet, right? I was like on that from about April till about September.
No meat.
I actually quite enjoyed it. But what happened was as soon as the lockdown thing ended and we started getting out and about again, I just found it really difficult because there's no way, you're out on the road, man.
It's all meat everywhere.
A lot. It's hard to find good sort of plant-based food. You know what I mean? It's horrible, the stuff that they have. So then I started to eat meat again. But I think what I've been doing, even before this, I've been eating like mainly a plant-based diet, and then maybe a couple of days I'll eat meat. And I might do a bit of that intermittent fasting that he was talking about. But definitely, I'm just trying to look after my health more because this pandemic thing's opened my eyes. You know what I mean? I lost my uncle the other day to COVID. You know what I mean? Chatting to a friend of mine in America, Steve, a really good friend. He lost his mum and dad to COVID. You know what I mean? So we got to look after ourselves, man. That's not just me. That's like everybody. All we got is us. You know what I mean? All we got is us, man. And if this ain't working, we can't do anything. So I'm just trying to look after myself better. And you know what it's like. We're always out and about and on the road, and so I'm just trying to be more sensible of what I eat. Listen, now I'm not saying I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to, the occasional junk food.
Yeah, but it's open your eyes to eating better anyway. So
yeah, man. Yeah, because we do eat a lot of junk.
Yeah, I tell you what, I wanted to just bring this up quickly, just to
turn into a food show.
Yeah, turn into a food show. I wanted to show you this. Look, Thomas Partey reveals he used to score with the ladies by buying them instant noodles in Ghana. He loves these Indomie noodles. He said, you get a new girl in Ghana and they say, buy me Indomie every day. That takes all my money, he said.
Wow.
But we were saying the other day, how's a man who's on like 150 grand a week, how's he living off 40 pence Indomie noodles? I mean, no wonder the man's getting injured every minute. He needs some proper hard food, man.
He's some proper hard food, man.
So you know what?
Right, by the way,
I went out and found them.
Oh, is that them?
39 pence in Morrison's. Valentine's Day's coming up, man. Valentine's Day's coming up. Maybe he said it helps him score with the women, innit? So
you go do that to your girl, man. See the slap you get in your head. You know what I mean?
She'll walk out. You know what I mean? They want lobster and them things. They don't want.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Hey, by the way, right? Let me tell you something, right? We've got the funniest video coming out tomorrow, right? Yeah. Valentine's Day. That's all I'm gonna say. Valentine's Day.
When Ty's involved.
Ty's in it, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be. Honestly, we filmed it. Please, people, watch that when it comes out. It's the funniest thing, man. It's the funniest thing. So, but yeah, no, yeah, I'm not mad on noodles either.
Nah. That's when they were the hard days, man. When you had to eat noodles and that,
When I went to China, man, trust me, they're noodle. Everything's noodles.
Yeah.
Noodles. That's their main thing. But I don't mind it. I don't dislike it, but
yeah. Do you know what I thought? I purposely put Mourinho and Arteta in the thumbnail, because me and you, every time Tottenham lose a game, as soon as the whistle goes, you send me that same picture of Mourinho. And you know what I mean? Man's got me feeling like I'm a Mourinho fan. But
you would have won, right? You would have won saying that you wanted him at Arsenal. And I said to you right at the start of the season, I don't want, or I would never want Mourinho. Yeah. I don't like. Don't like the guy's too harsh because he hasn't done nothing to me. But I don't know. I just don't like his style of football. Yeah. I don't. You know what I mean? And then I just think to myself, listen, he was a great manager. When he first came into the Premier League, he took over things. He was brilliant. He was the special one. Yeah. But I just think when I've looked at him over the last 3-4 years, man, he's lost that. When he went to United, he was terrible. So I'm like, why does everyone think he's going to go to Spurs with worse players? Yeah. Right? And do any better? And he's going to, what I'm seeing now at the moment at Tottenham is what I saw at United. Dead football, boring football, and really he's underachieving. When you look at him, Tottenham got a very good team at the moment. Yeah. They got some, I hate to admit it, but they got some ballers, man. You know what I mean? Son, Kane, Ndombele. They've got a good team. They shouldn't be getting, and then they'll play teams that go 1-0 up and they park the bus and things like that. Although the other night they did have a go, to be fair to them. Again, picked off. Which was really weird with their disappointing, really weird for them and disappointing for them is that their defending was terrible. Yeah. But Mourinho, no. I'd much rather have Arteta. He may have his faults, but he's a young, progressive manager. And you know, what would Mourinho be doing with the mess at Arsenal? Come on, if he took over at Arsenal, Curtis, and he would have been in charge of that mess with those players, you know, wanting to get away, the dead wood, and what would he would have been? It'd have been a civil war. Look at him, just with him and Dele Alli, for instance. Look at that. Imagine if he had been at Arsenal, and then he would have had. He wouldn't have just had Dele Alli. He would have had Özil. He would have had Socrates. He would have had Kolasinac. He would have had Mustafi. He would have various players within the team. He'd be fighting every week. Nah, man. No thanks.
I mean, listen, I spoke to you the other day, actually, and I said, it was funny. I saw a video, you know, and it like pops up. It said a year ago, I made a video saying, let's go for Ancelotti. So I'm just putting out there, it wasn't only Mourinho that I wanted.
Ancelotti, cool. Ancelotti, I was as well. When Ancelotti was available, I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because I was like a steady hand, but also a very experienced manager and a good manager as well. Yeah. But Mourinho, no. Ancelotti, I would have seen him suiting Arsenal. I think he's doing a good job at Everton. But Mourinho, nah, man.
Someone's saying here, all right, so just to, you know, spark a bit of debate in it. Mourinho's above us in the table. He's in the Carabao Cup final. He's played Arteta twice and beat him twice. So how is he underperforming, but Arteta, you can see?
Who said Arteta's performing well? Yeah, I mean, Arteta's underperforming as well. Yeah. But I'd rather have a young, hungry manager that's got a vision, that is young. Yeah, I mean, this is he's allowed to make a bit more mistakes than Mourinho because he's not as experienced. And he's had, let's be real as well, he's taken over a bigger job, right, of rebuilding the Mourinho. Mourinho took over a team that got to the Champions League final. Don't forget that. The previous season, they ended it in the Champions League final. Yeah? That's what he took over, right? Arteta took over an absolute shambles of a team that finished sixth, that was in an absolute mess. Özil did all the situations. Mourinho hasn't had to deal with those type of situations. He's only had to deal with the Dele Alli one, and that's been of his own making. You know, he didn't have to deal with all the problems that Arteta's had to deal with. So no, for me, and you know, I'm just seeing the same old Mourinho things and falling out with players during the week. Now he's falling out with Bale, obviously. You know, he's falling out with various different players. And I just like, yo, bro, that method that you used to use, like when you first came to Chelsea, I don't think that really works no more. You know, I mean, things have kind of moved on. Yeah. So, I think he's done, man. I just don't think he's that same type of manager. He hasn't got the unlimited funds at Tottenham, what he would have had at Chelsea, you know, or even at United to spend. And I think he's finding it difficult. And just because they're above us in the table, with the team they've got and where they were at the start of this, you know, towards the start of the season, they remember people talking about them for the title. You were telling me.
No, they was in the race. They were top of the league. It was hard to ignore.
Yeah, so if you was in the race for the title and now you're sitting in 8th where they are right now, you know, come on, he's massively underachieving. I mean, I saw a thing this morning where they put it out to say his job is safe. So that even tells you at Tottenham that they're really disappointed with what's going on. So I don't think they'll get top 4, and they should. They've got the 2 best attacking players in the country at the moment in Son and Kane, right? They've got one of the best midfielders in the Premier League in Ndombele. They've got experienced defenders, Alderweireld, World Cup winner goalkeeper. What's his excuse? He's brought in his guys, Højbjerg and things like that. He's not had to do what Arteta's do. You can see with Arteta, even you, we all know we need an attacking player. We all know we need a right back. We all know we need probably a more dynamic defensive midfielder. We all know probably need an attacker, another striker. But he's already got it, Mourinho. He's already got those players. Nah.
I agree to a point. I do think Mourinho should be doing better at Tottenham, although I do think they need some new defenders. I think their defense is aging a little bit now.
What, Davidson Sanchez?
But I don't think
£45 million.
I don't think Mourinho likes him. I don't think he likes him.
Look, hold on, before this defense argument starts as well. Davidson Sanchez, 45 million, young, yeah. Reguilon, he bought him in. He's a great player, right? Matt Doherty, who he bought in, these are his guys.
Poor,
right? So that's already 3 defenders. He got rid of Gazaniga and he kept Lloris because Lloris is his guy. They're his guys. Well, he can't go moaning now. He lost a few games. Nah, those are his guys. Whereas you look at Arteta's team and you can tell there's some players there. They're not his people. They're not really what he wants, but it's what he's got and he has to work with right now. And that's part of the rebuilding process.
On the flip side, I could say for Arteta, Kieran Tierney's a top left back. He signed Gabriel. He signed Pablo Mari. He gave Rob Holding a new contract. He turned down offers for Hector Bellerin. So,
listen, he's made mistakes as well, but I think he's more hamstrung than what Mourinho was at the start of the season. And as I said, he took over a team that got to the Champions League final. That's the team he took over. And what he's done, he's made that team, by the looks of it, he's made it worse. No, hold on.
Where was Poch when they got sacked? Weren't they like 10th, 11th in the table that season when they sacked?
It was early in the season. It was early in the season. And sometimes, you know what I mean? That's why sometimes people make knee-jerk decisions because it was early in the season. You know, earlier, you know, about 6 weeks ago, they were bigging up Ralph Hasenhüttl. There was people at Arsenal fans saying, we should get him. That's what we need, Ralph. Yeah, now 9-0, this, that, battering from pillar to post. You know what I mean? You can't judge it too early in the season. So, you know, when Pochettino left, it was very early in the season. And listen, it might have been time to move Pochettino on.
Yeah.
Pochettino on, you know what I mean? But I think with Arteta, you have to now give him till the end of the season, unless there's a disaster between now and the end of the season. I mean, if we went out of the Europa League and we finished 12th or something like that, I think you've got to seriously look at Arteta. But I think if we just see the season out and I don't know. Listen, I really do think it's a transition season. But next year, for me, that's no more, you know, the honeymoon period is over and I want to see results because you're going to have a full summer, you're going to have a pre-season, and I'm going to want to see results from Mikel Arteta. There'll be no more excuses. But
the thing is, was we not saying that last year? Well, he had half a season last year. Obviously, won the FA Cup, deserves credit. He had a full transfer window in the summer. And this season, we've got worse. And we were saying the other day, if we get knocked out to Benfica, the league, the season's over for us in February.
It's definitely over.
Done for us.
But you know what? Just going back to what you said when you started off talking about Mourinho.
Yeah.
Right? You said, "Oh, he's still in the Carabao Cup."
In the final of
the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Arteta won it. Some people don't even want to give him credit for it. Some people they're dissing him. Oh, it's only the FA Cup, but now they're bigging up a man being in the final of the Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? The Carabao Cup, which, you know, if we won the Carabao Cup this season, do you think anybody would be turning around and say, well, yeah, well done, Arteta, we won the Carabao Cup? Let's be real. No one don't really care about that cup.
I think our targets are a bit, you know, with Tottenham, because they haven't won a trophy for so long, I think they'll take any trophy at this point.
They're desperate, yeah. They're desperate to win. But even when they won the Audi Cup, they was carrying on. I mean, so they're desperate. But Mikel Arteta he's had a ropey season. But let's see how it finishes. Remember, the season hasn't finished yet, but he has had a ropey season. He's got a creative player. He's got a couple of creative players in there now. He's changed it up a bit. I want to see how he gets on from now till the end of the season. Yeah. But you know, a real test of what he's about is his next few games.
It's true, and we got a tough run.
These next few games, bro.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm telling you, man, like Leeds, we know what they've been all about this season. You know, attacking, man for man marking, always on you. Difficult game. Got some ballers in that, Rafinha and Bamford up front, right? Then you've got City. We don't expect to get nothing out of that. That's coming up after Benfica, which we played twice. That's going to be difficult. They're a European team. And then Leicester away, where we always haven't done brilliantly over the last few years. So this is a big test for Mikel Arteta that coming up this month, because it could be the end of the season officially. Could lose all those games in the league and be out of Europe. I mean, then again, people will be calling for his head.
Yeah,
they'll be calling. I think, you know, that's how serious. I don't know if people have looked on that, but that's how serious it is. Is that if he goes out of Europe and loses 2 out of those 3,
he's in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Let me just read this quick. Crafty Gooner said, "I'm sorry, but Arteta has been able to sign players. He's got a better team than Emery, and he's made it worse. We've got the most expensive front three in the Prem. Don't forget that. All I hear is excuses."
I'm not making excuses, but you know where he's got a bit of credit in the bank because he won the FA Cup. Emery didn't win anything, remember? Let's be real. Emery didn't win anything. It was the same old under Unai Emery. And everybody knew. I don't like these comparisons, right? Because everybody and his dog knew that it was time for Emery to go. He was like, he should have went about 6 weeks before he actually went. He was having a horrible time. There was, he'd lost the dressing room. Arteta doesn't look to me like he's lost the dressing room. Arteta looks to me like the players are saying, well, there is a process, there is a plan, Losing 10 games for the season is terrible. But then it's that season. I don't even know how to. You know what, Curtis? I don't even know how to gauge a season again, man, because it's such a mad season. There's no home or away games. It's just games. You know what I mean? It's just a crazy season. It's not. You've got to kind of write it off and say just rebuild. But next season, no excuses. Because you now would have been here like a good period of time. You would have got your players in, and we want to see what you are going to do. How you start to maneuver us up that table and bring us back to challenging again and becoming a major force. But I keep saying it, and I've said this to you before, and I've said this to fans. Our position at the moment, don't get me wrong, is not good enough. But at the start of this season, with the team that Mikel Arteta had, where did we expect to finish? I know a lot of people said top 4. That's based on us being Arsenal. As an Arsenal, and when we talk about Arsenal, minimum top 4, yes. As Arsenal Football Club, the size of it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the players that we've got, is that team better than City? No. Chelsea, player for player? No. Leicester? No. Is it better than who else is up there? Liverpool? No. Is it better than who else? Who have I missed?
Chelsea, Tottenham.
It's not better than Tottenham's team? No. 5. That's 5 teams already. Everton, probably on a par.
Close. Similar.
Yeah, probably on a similar type of team. I'm
gonna add an argument to your debate, because we're basically having a courtroom here. I'm gonna show you this. This is the table last season, if you can see this, right? Obviously, we finished 8th. We finished 8th last year, 56 points. Last season, Aston Villa finished 21 points behind us. They were 1 place above the relegation zone. West Ham were 17 points behind us, and Everton were 7 points behind us. Now, the only reason I'm picking those 3 teams out is because if you look at this season's table, those are the 3 teams above us where I think you can have a debate about them being above us. You look at City, United, look where West Ham are. West Ham are a point off 4th. You can't tell me that West Ham have got a better team than Arsenal. Aston Villa, I mean, Leeds are only just above us, but Everton, West Ham and Aston Villa, I don't think any of them 3 have got better teams than us. Everton possibly, but West Ham and Villa definitely not. So,
but hold on, man. You're showing me something that's based off of where everybody finished at the end. You haven't reached
this one is now.
Huh?
This one is this season's now. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, all right. So I'm saying that you can only really make that comparison if you show me that at the end of the season. But we don't know where it's going to end up. Last season, for literally the whole season, Leicester were in 2nd place. They didn't finish 2nd, did they? They finished in 5th. Right? United were down in about, remember, Man United, they were down like outside the top 6. Yeah. And they finished 2nd. So you can't really make those comparisons until the end of the season. I want to see at the end of the season where we finish, and then you can say to me, fair enough. You know what I mean? Because what happens as we start to get to the end of the season is every game means something. Now, all of a sudden, West Ham will see the finishing line to get to the top 4, and every game becomes pressure. So every game you go into, it's not like, oh, West Ham, yeah, you know, if they get a win, that's great. If they don't, it don't matter. It's like you need to win that game, and you need to win that one afterwards, and you need to win the one after that, right? And that's where teams start to fall off. So that's why I think it's difficult to look at it now. Let's look at it at the end of the season, and then you can make those comparisons. But I don't think you can look on it. And with Villa as well, remember, they did invest a lot of money in their squad. They invested a lot of money in it. Villa's not no poor team, you know. They've got billionaire owners just like us. So, and they invested a lot of money in their squad in the summer. But you're right. You know what I mean? Listen, we should still be doing better than where we are. Simple as that. You know, I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that it's not a really fair comparison what you're doing there, because you're basing it off of where everybody ends up. Yeah. And we still got 3 left for and loads of games till the end of the season. If you would have done that comparison last year and you would have done it then, you would have we would be saying the same sort of things. But we finished 8th and we won the FA Cup, and a lot of people were saying actually that was Arteta did well. He won the FA Cup. So let's wait.
I hear what you're saying. I just think, you know what? We've done many interviews and stuff, and we've seen times where fans have been going mad about Wenger, or when it was Emery towards the end, and I just look at it and I think, what's so different with this manager? Why are
I think
we're 11th in the table? We've lost 10 games by February, which isn't good enough for us.
I think it's a couple of things. I think it's number one, the type of season we're having. I mean, listen, if fans were in the ground, he wouldn't get away with this.
And there you go. You know that.
He wouldn't get away with this, right? But I think it's the type of season we're having with where the pandemic and everything. And I think the second thing is that I think a lot of people realise that this is a transition at the moment with Arsenal. They're not I mean, even the most deluded fan's not fooling himself. He can see that we're miles off. And it's going to take time to get back to where we are. And sometimes you've got to go through some hard times, bro. I'm hating this season. 10 games.
Bro, 10 defeats.
And we're only in February. 10 defeats, more defeats than wins. And we're only in February. And I'm hating this season at the moment. But I do recognise that we are in a transition period. I can see it. I can see it. When it's a little bit different to compare it with Arsene Wenger, because I think with Arsene Wenger, it wasn't a transition, had it? He'd been in charge for over 20 years. So it was more a situation where people were looking on it and saying, do you know what? It's tired now. We need to bring in some freshness to it. And then when Emery came in, it was like, yo, this guy's lost the dressing room. There's all these, it's a mess. We can see the players are not playing for him. Yeah. I think in this case, it's different. I think it's like players are playing for him,
Yeah. Hey, do you know I had Kevin Campbell on yesterday with Turkish and Leeds. Kev was. We were looking at the bigger picture and the ownership, and the lack of backing. Have we got the right owner? Kev said, "Yeah, that's different." I mean, Kev said instead of looking at other clubs, we need to concentrate on what we're doing. Arsenal have been mediocre for over a decade with an attitude of a medium club.
That's 100% true as well. You see, this is the thing: is that it's the owners of this football club, and I've said this a million times. Yeah, what do they want from Arsenal?
Yeah,
I know what Arteta's want. Whether he gets there or not, I don't know, but I know what he wants. He says he wants to bring Arsenal back to where they should be. He wants to win titles with Arsenal. These owners, do they want that? And it's not like they just. I think a lot of people forget this. Yeah, they didn't just turn up yesterday.
Yeah,
they've been here since we've moved to the Emirates, and they've been in charge. They might own the whole of it now, but they were the majority owners of the club. They're the ones who steer the direction of the club throughout that whole period. And to me, under their stewardship, we have gone to becoming a mediocre club. We have gone from being a great club, not just in English football, in world football, to being just that average club. Now, what do they want going forward into a new decade? What do you want to do with Arsenal? And if your aim is not to win titles, then sell up. And if your aim is to win titles, you have to give the people that are in charge the resources to carry that out. And if they don't carry that out, fair enough, then you change that person. I just look on it and I just say they ain't got no ambition. They ain't got their ambitions. Not really. I don't see that they care, because if they care like me and you, they would be doing more, and they don't. They're not doing enough.
I mean, he said before. I brought this up yesterday. Kroenke made that statement where he said, "I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies."
Yeah, he didn't. So, that was the only time he told the truth, because he didn't. He bought the club, right? Because he wanted. It's an investment.
Yeah,
he bought the club because when you're a billionaire owner who owns lots of sports franchises around the world, as they like to call it. You add Arsenal, based in London, one of the biggest clubs in the world, to it. These men just sit down and talk about their portfolio. It's a bit like a person who owns loads of properties.
Yeah,
man, I've got a property. Yeah, I've got 5 there in the West End of London. I've actually got a property in France as well, and I've got a next one in Spain, a villa that I bought in Spain that I rent out. I'm about to buy one in Florida. To me, that's how it looks, how he treats this club. Whereas when I look at Abramovich, or when I look at Sheikh Mansour at City, or when I look at the guy at Leicester, those men care about the club. They care about what's happening. They own it, but they want that to win. The guy at Leicester, let's take out Sheikh Mansour, let's take out Abramovich, because we know they're multi-billionaires, right? The guy at Leicester who's rich, he's a billionaire. And remember, Kroenke's a billionaire as well, right? The guy at Leicester, he wants to win. Leicester won the league before. Nobody expected that. Even they, when they were doing it, they had a plan to try and challenge for the league within 5 years. And people were laughing at it. And then it just so happened that they achieved it at way ahead of time.
Yeah.
But he hasn't just sat back and said, right, I've achieved the greatest thing in the history of Leicester, and that's it, and I'm cool. No, he's tried to push on again to win it again. He brought in Brendan Rodgers. He's building something. He's building a team. They've built a brand new training ground. You know what I mean? There's a plan to win the league. And if you plan to win the league, that's when, if you don't, the next best thing, if you get in the top 4. Yeah. So you can still go and invest. But what's our plan? Our plan has not been to win the league. Our plan under the Kroenkes, over the time when Arsene Wenger was in there at the Emirates Stadium, was to get in the top 4.
Yeah.
So that, and if your plan is to get in the top 4 and you slightly miss out on that plan, then you end up 6th. or 8th. And then what starts to happen is teams start to go past you. Teams start to go past you. You're not investing in the right players. You're not looking out for those young players coming up. You're not looking out for the hot players that are around. You're not building your academy well enough. And teams start to go past you.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to Arsenal. So that's why I don't lower my expectations when I speak. When people say, "Oh, Robbie, you're lowering your expectations," I'm being real because I see the mess that we've been in. And then when I look at Arteta now, he's obviously realised that mess, and he's trying to address a lot of those problems. But he can't do it all on his own, man. If they don't back him, in the summer, it will be the same old thing next season. Because you need quality. We've seen. Listen, you bring in a Thomas Partey. All of us see. It's been unfortunate with all the injuries he's had, but everybody can see the quality he brings. But you had to pay £45 million for that. If we hadn't met that release clause, you ain't getting it. Simple as. So that's where I want to see these owners. When are they going to stand up? When are we going to hear from them? I've never heard Stan Kroenke say a word. I think one time I was at one of those what do they call it, fan things, and he was speaking. Yeah. And the man must have said about 3 words, and he handed the mic over to what's the name, the other guy. I was like, bro, it's your.
You don't need to.
What's your vision? What are your plans? When you come to a game, you've been to any game, not one game this season, that guy's been around. Yeah. He ain't heard nothing from him. People said his son's taking over. We ain't heard nothing from him either. They're not interested. So if you're not interested, sell it. Give it to the various different people around the world that would like to buy the club. Yeah. And let's have somebody come in who's going to have ambition and then help the manager. And if the manager then flops, get him out, then we bring in the next one. But I'm just like fed up of these owners, to be honest, because I don't. Or if they've got ambition, then they're not telling us. I want to know what it is. What are they looking to achieve? What's that? Because you've been in charge now. Is it 13 years? 13 years you've been in charge. You ain't won no league. You haven't won the league.
Not even close.
Nah, man. No, it's honestly, it really, really upsets me. And then they leave, they hang all the managers out to dry to take all the stick on their behalf.
And this is what I'm saying. I mean, even yesterday, I was saying this to Kev and Turkish and that. Even though I aim a lot of displeasure towards the manager, I'm still not unaware of the fact that there is a way bigger issue at the club. And Turkish always talks about it, and he's bang on.
Turkish. That's true. Turkish has been passionate about it for years.
Do you think as a fan base, we've got to do more to apply pressure to this owner, or do you think it's very difficult to do?
It's very difficult because he's not here. And even when they are here, look at Mike Ashley. I don't think there's more pressure apart from physical pressure, which nobody wants to see that, right? You should never ever get to that. But I don't know what else those Newcastle fans could do to get him out, right? Yeah. Although they did, to be fair, the pressure has reached him because he nearly sold the club last year, right? Yeah, nearly. But it's really difficult in our case because the guy lives in America. Yeah. He's a billionaire. He's got his main interest is in the LA Rams, which is his American football club. He's just built the most expensive stadium in the world. And that's where his passion lies. And fair enough, that's cool. That's cool. Your passion can lie there, right? Because you're American and American football will be your first love. I understand that. Yeah. But if you own Arsenal, either you have to like show that same passion for Arsenal, or you've got to put someone in who represents you, who shows that. Even the people that represent him, I don't see it. I don't see them people showing the same passion that me, you, Kev. You got Kev. I don't see someone like Kev shows. You know what I mean? So when we lose, it burns us, man. Yeah. When Arsenal lose, people ask me sometimes, because you've been interviewing people and that, are you not? You look calm, Robbie, and that. But underneath, man, when we lose some games, I'm burning. When I'm driving home afterwards, man, I'm so upset. And I find it very difficult to even engage with anything to do with football for a good little while because it hurts. But these men, I'm not sure that Kroenke, he don't business, man. That's my opinion. I mean, whether it's true or not, it's hard to say because I don't live around him. But where is he? Have you seen him, Kev? I know you're closer to the club than us. You ever seen? You ever met him?
No.
You ever seen him?
No. No. Robbie, look. Curtis he's fired me out of the chat because the chat was going on.
I thought, get him on here, man. I can't keep reading these comments.
And listen, I was on yesterday, and I'm pleased. Nice to see you, Robbie, again.
Good to see
Curtis,
you,
thanks for having me on. This is what I will say.
Go on.
And I said it yesterday, and for all them people in the chat, listen up and listen good. Whether the owner loves the club or not, the person who was in charge when he took over was our greatest ever manager. So you expect our greatest ever manager to be able to handle the situation. The problem we've got is Wenger never handled the situation properly because we went from being the best club at Highbury. When we come into the Emirates, we got told that story about we're going to be able to compete and all this.
Yeah.
It's in Arsene Wenger's hands. And then all of a sudden, the big players never came to Arsenal. We started to just qualify for the Champions League, feed everybody slowly, little by little, the Champions League. Top four, top four, top four. And that was our mantra. Yeah, we qualify for the Champions League every year. But they never realized we were standing still. And Robbie, you made a great point. When you stand still, you only realize when you're in trouble is when people pass you.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing the likes of West Ham going past us, Everton going past us, all these other boys. You think to yourself, what's happening with Arsenal? Arsenal have been in the crap for years.
And Kev, you know what, right? When you look at it, teams, you look at it. So Curtis done that thing earlier and he said, well, how can West Ham be there? They know, but when you look at it, right, even if they're not better than us, they're close to us.
Yes.
If you look at the players that they've got, Wolves have got, those sort of teams, there's not a big difference in what we have and they have. Right. Whereas if you look at the difference between those teams and City or Chelsea or Leicester or you can see those Man United, Spurs, they will have like 4 or 5 players that they're a grade up from even the best players in those teams. But when you look at some of those other teams in and around us, it's similar teams.
Robbie.
Similar players.
Robbie.
We haven't invested.
Robbie, there's one thing to say. Of all them teams that everybody is complaining about being ahead of us, how many of those teams' best players are 20 and 19 years old?
Yeah.
How many? Yes.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Come in, man.
Supporters club, there he is.
Again.
Come on, I need you in it.
Yeah, no, you're right, Kev, and you know what I mean. That's it, and that's where I look at with Arteta, and I'm like, at least he's seeing that. So you see, he's trying to change the profile of the players at the club, and he's trying to bring in, apart from the only one is that Willian thing that I'm like, but everybody else I've seen him trying to bring in, I'm like, yeah, I can see that sense of Tierney, young, years ahead of him if he's successful. You know what I mean? Players like that. And then, as I said earlier to Curtis, if you want to get back to, if we want to get back to where we are, we're going to have to spend money. Partey, it was £45 million release clause. If you ain't got that, buy. Awar. Remember we wanted Awar? That was the #1 target. The man them said, yo, listen, 50 million, man. And if you, they don't even care about the name Arsenal no more. Remember, that used to be a selling point. They don't even business about that no more. 50. And even the players like, yo, bro, what's going on there? The players as well, who once upon a time would have just been like Arsenal, Thierry Henry, Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell. You know what I mean? Right? Them man ain't saying that no more. They're like, yo, what's the ambition? Who else you buying? What else is carrying on there? That's how he's changed. And people need to understand this, right? Because that's where we are now. I know Turkish has been saying this for a long time. This is where we are, right? So when I talk about, you know, we're not good enough for the top four, really, that would be a massive overachievement. And people say, oh, Robbie, you've lowered your standards. I haven't lowered my standards, but I'm being real. I'm looking at where the whole, and you look at it, as I said, look at Leicester. That's an ambitious football club, man. They ain't got the money. They're not spending the money that we got, but they got an ambitious plan. And that's why they're doing so well.
But then, so obviously you say there about we need to invest, but we have spent a lot of money in our team. Our team's more expensive than Tottenham's, than Liverpool's even as well. So the investment has been wrong, hasn't it? We've bought the wrong players.
But you see that, you know that
a lot of that's historic.
You know that post, post recently, or the story recently about a deficit of 262 mil. I don't know if you lot saw it in the last 10 transfer windows. The net spend essentially is 262 mil. But if you break that down, that works out to 26.25 million a window. Is 26.25 million a window, net spend or not, gonna push you on from where we was? Let's not forget where we was. We wasn't a Chelsea title winning side. We wasn't a City title winning side, a United title winning side. We was a side already 9-10 years into turmoil. 26.25 million a transfer window is not going to fix that, you know, and no manager can fix it working under those conditions. Robbie's right. In the past year or so, we have examples of good business. You know, I'd even stretch to say Mari and Cedric, good business in terms of depth. You know, they might be hidden gems in the long run when you look at the squad overall in 2 years, maybe. But then you'll have a Willian on the other hand, which Rob, you know, I mentioned the roundabout a lot with the club itself. Us fans are in a roundabout too, and we need to get off it. You know, the club, we cannot change the club and how it's going right now. They're going round and round because we are going round and round. Listen, Wenger was never really the problem, but he had to go. Ozil was never really the problem, but he had to go. Why? Because excuses were made off the back of Wenger, legend status, give him time, trust the process back then. It was understandable, but he had to go to highlight further problems. Ozil, after that, had to go because after Wenger, all we heard was wage structure is, you know, we got a Champions League wage structure, we're in the Europa League. A big part of that was Ozil. Not only was his wages a big part of it, but he's underperforming too. So he had to go to relieve them of excuses. Now the excuse is we haven't got Champions League money. The only thing I'd like out of this season is either top 4 or Europa League win, because that will get us Champions League. Do I want Champions League to gloat? No, I would not gloat. I want Champions League. So in the summer, this club have no excuse. We got Champions League money. We have a wage structure that's been, you know, cleansed. And we have a manager that's a year and a half in. So if there's ever a time for this club to act accordingly, we would do it this summer. If we don't make Champions League, which, you know, it is laughable to think right now anyway, it's most likely, then the excuse of Europa League still stands. And we keep on going round as a fan base, going from Wenger was the problem, now Arteta's the problem. Ozil's the problem. Willian's going to be the problem now. Because 200k of Ozil's 350 has gone to Willian. The other 150 has gone to Oba. So already that contract that we've saved, essentially we've spent it already in the past 6 months. But people don't realize that. And have we spent it well? It doesn't look like it. So we're making the same mistakes. And you lot talked about, Rob, you talked about not lowering expectation. And he's right off the pitch. Maintain standards off the pitch. But on the pitch, I don't expect fuck all from this team. You can't expect fuck all. My expectations are very low on the pitch. But off the pitch, as fans, we need to maintain high standards. It's hard to maintain it when those high standards are from 15 years ago. But we've got to maintain it. We can't drop with it. We're essentially... listen, if we got top 4 this year, everyone's going to be jubilant. Everyone's going to be happy. Social media, banter, left, right, center. It means nothing because the summer means everything. We've been in Champions League 10 years in a row with this owner and he's done nothing. So what makes us think getting back into it, where we originally got fed up just making top 4, will kick us on? That's their goal, top 4. Let's not make it our goal. Our goal is bigger than top 4. Our goal is bigger than West Ham, Everton, Leicester. I know they're above us now, and we look at it like, how are they above us, you know? And I get that. But I'm not looking to be 6 to 9 points better off. I'm looking to be 15 to 20 points better off, and we're far from that. If we were 6 to 9 points better off now and joined with Everton, I'd still not be happy. I'll be honest with you. Because essentially, we need to be on.
Turkish. Do you know something? Qualifying for the Champions League might be the worst thing that happened to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why? Because that gets the owner off the hook.
Yeah.
That gets him off the hook. Because, all right, there's more funds coming into the football club now. So the fans are going to be happy. Haven't we been down this road previously? Every season qualifying for the Champions League, doing nothing in the Champions League, and then all of a sudden we just accept. Now that when Wenger leaves, everybody starts opening the cupboards and the doors and they're starting to see the rubbish.
Yeah.
They're starting to see what is really wrong. So now that we're in it, we need to plan, and that's from the top to bottom. The plan has to be put in place. We need better players. We need better attitude. We need a club that thinks like a big club. We need a club that wants to be the best. All of these things have to be in place before we even start embarking on a Champions League. Because we go back in that Champions League, where do you reckon? What's the point qualifying for the Champions League if we're just going to be hitting the buffers all the time? We've got to want to win it. And if we want to win it, we have to get everybody's head in the right direction. And unfortunately, for 17 years, it hasn't been in place.
Yeah, because they've been content, you know, the owners of the club, not the fans, the owners of the club have been quite content with getting top 4 and, you know, maintaining Arsenal's status as one of the top clubs in Europe because we're always in that big European competition. If you actually look at it, the only time they started to really spend and start to even look at things and even started to look at Wenger was when we started to drop out of that top 4. Yeah. Because all of a sudden now they saw that under threat. The status is under threat. The whole brand is under threat. And that's when they started to react. But that's the worst thing sometimes, just reacting. You've got to have a plan. The best clubs don't react. Man City don't really have to react. They tweak because they're already setting out to win. So if a player they bought in that they thought was going to work hasn't really worked, they tweak it and then it might bring a next guy in and move him out, and right. But the reaction thing of Arsenal, that's what we're doing at the moment. We're reacting. I do like what Arteta's trying to do because you can see he's looking at it long term and the profile, as I said, of the players. He's trying to change, but it's like Turkish, like you said it, and you've said it on my thing a million times as well. If it's not backed up by the ownership of the club, it means nothing. And I know people are talking about protests. It's really difficult because the guy in here. I remember when I was in America and I see him. I was in the ground. It's me and Troops, and he's up in the stands, you know? And it's difficult. That's where he is. In Denver, that was. This man, he's probably got a million other things on his plate with all his other, because he owns so many other things. He don't really, and I don't see the representative over here who's big enough to control this thing as well. I don't see that, you know, and I don't see them talking, you know, where's that clear plan to get back to where we want to be?
I see 4 of us here, Rob. I see 4 of us here and 4 of many others. You know, I feel like, you know, before I even came on AFTV and before I even started my YouTube, I always thought, you know what, they're taking football away from us. Yeah. And what you brought, Rob, what we brought on social media and now the YouTube channels is a fan's opinion meaning something all of a sudden. You know, it became the middle ground between football and them. And we was in the middle, and we've got the voice now. And I believe, you know, over the years, whether it's been 2.5, 3 years, my channel, 1 year, Curtis's channel, Rob, I don't know, 7, 8 years now. Kev, you're a legend, so you go way back, you know. It's just different times now. And I believe we've all got a voice. And I think we all believe the same thing. It's just that we tend to maybe lose focus sometimes and talk about the 90 minutes a bit too much, when in reality, the 90 minutes means nothing for the long-term future of this club, or even the short-term. Maybe I talk about Bellerin and Xhaka a bit too much, when in reality, they don't pick themselves. Maybe Curtis talks about Arteta more than he should, because we see him every week, you know, on the sideline. He is the one answering questions. Best believe if Kroenke was answering questions every week, we'd all have the same face on the dartboard, you know. But I believe if more and more of us wake up with the platforms we have, we can maybe not force change, but we can highlight that we know the problem even more than ever.
Put a bit of pressure on. Put pressure on.
Yeah, because love Arsenal, hate Usmanov, was a big thing. But it was a big thing done by not a small group, but it was a big thing done by a group that maybe doesn't have as many eyes on them as us four here, or us individually.
You mean hate Kroenke?
Yeah, no. Remember the first banner, love Arsenal, hate Usmanov. That's what was allowed in the ground. That's what was allowed in the ground.
I'd take Usmanov, right? Usmanov, of course, I would have took, because Usmanov wanted to win, and now Usmanov is up at Everton, and you can see what they're trying to do. The plan in Everton is to get them back to where Everton used to be back in the day. You guys might be too young. Me and Kev remember them days, where Everton were huge, winning titles, right? And they're trying to get it back to that, and they got a plan. Where's our guy? What's his plan? When are we going to hear from this guy one time? Nothing. Not even a statement from him. Nothing.
Do you know I wanted to ask you? And obviously, because you said there, Kev, Champions League could be the worst thing. If we've got an owner that's not investing money out of his own pocket, obviously we need investment on the pitch. How do we get back to the top if we don't get in the Champions League and earn that extra money? And
but this is the whole key to it all. You see the way Abramovich done it at Chelsea. He came in straight away with the suitcases of cash, boom, 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 going for it straight away. Yeah. Where if you don't start off like that, it's very difficult for the owner to 10 years down the line to start doing it because of FFP. How do we do it? What we've got to do it the old-fashioned way, is by doing it on the pitch. We have to build a team that can compete and challenge, get into the position, and then get into the Champions League that way. But it's a team. It's a team who want to win, who want to be good, team who want to win trophies. Soon as you do it that way, that's what generates off the pitch. But what we're trying to do, we're trying to paper the cracks in order to get into the Champions League when we've got no foundation. We haven't had foundation for this is our fourth season outside the Champions League. We've got no foundation. We're having to pay players to leave the football club. and I know I go on about this, but we are Arsenal. We should have pieces. If we wanted to trade, we can trade and then sell, get money in, and then move and shake. But we're having to pay these guys to leave, and we're supposed to be a viable business. That ain't good business.
But that's the mess that's been created over a long period of time, and that's why with me, that's why I say you've got to give Arteta a bit of time, because I see what he's trying to do, whether he's got the right funds or not to do it. But I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to, first of all, get rid of them type of guys that, they're done at him, man. They're not gonna take us anywhere. And he's trying to bring in the right type of player that can start to move us back towards where we are. But at the moment, if you want to kind of leapfrog it a bit, you then have to go and buy some of those players. You're not all going to be able to get all of those, you know, coming through your academy or getting that, you know, some of the little moves we used to do years ago where we got the hidden gems.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about the hidden gems now. A kid playing FIFA knows about the hidden gems. That's available to everybody. Yeah. So what's our plan? That's what when I say about plan. And I keep going back to Leicester. And I spoke about this the other day on one of my shows. And people were cussing me and they're saying, how are you comparing Arsenal to Leicester? And I'm saying because if you look at them, Leicester done it smart. They first of all had the plan and they brought in the right profile of players. The right profile of players. So you look throughout that team, man, in Leicester. Look throughout it, from the back to the midfield to up front. It's the right type of players. And if one of those players don't work and they sell it, they get money for it, like Kev said. And if not, they've got great players. Look at that guy Justin that they bought in. Look at Pereira.
From Luton.
Yeah.
They bought Justin from Luton.
Yeah, look at Pereira. It's, to me, one of the best right backs around. Look at Fafana. So I do see that Arsenal are trying to, you know, like when going and get a Saliba or get a Gabriel, Morales. Those are good signings to me. I like those because to me, if those guys develop in a year or so's time, they're going to be top players. But then what we've done in the past now, right? When we've had a player like that that's done really, really well, next minute, you know, I'm gone. He'll come in, or one of those teams will say, hey, yo, bro, that Gabriel is 50 million, he's gone. And that's, again, when I say, if you're an ambitious owner, you ain't going to Chelsea and getting none of them, man, there. You see what they do when they sell us players. You see the type of players they give to us. They ain't giving us, you know, and it's just been going on for years. I mean, I saw Hazard saying the other day in an interview that he supported Arsenal. Arsenal were the first team that were interested in Hazard, but they didn't go with any ambition, didn't want to front up the money. Man's been became a Chelsea legend. Drogba. It's been going back years. They've been doing this, man. Years. How many times were we close to winning the title? When all of us were fans, right? I'd be going to the games, and man, right? It'd be like December. We're just getting near to the January window. Turkish will relate to this. And we're going to games, right? And everyone's going, yo, all we need now, defensive midfielder. If we get
and a centre back.
Get a defensive midfielder and a centre back, it's done.
Yeah.
Right? January finish, we buy a goalkeeper, or we don't buy nobody. And by the time when it comes to the business end of the season now, we everyone's running through our midfield and our defense is, you know, one injury and every fan, Kev's more up to the.
You can see it. Everybody can see it.
Not because he played the game, but every fan could see it, and they couldn't see it. And the owner, and it's the same guy that's in charge now that was in charge then times when we were talking about these things. He was. A lot of people kind of think the Kroenke thing's recent because he just took over the whole. But he's owned. He's been the majority shareholder for the whole time, literally. From he bought out that I've forgotten her name.
Lady.
From he bought out her shares. It's his club, and from then right till now, and like you said, Kev, he relied on Wenger because Wenger was a great manager and was able to always get us over the line, over top four, until that run out, because other teams have better players than us.
Other teams start catching us. Yeah.
When I look on and I go back to what I was saying to you right near the start, Curtis, when I look at the league, there's so many teams better than us. Let's be real. When people say minimum top four, we're not better than Man United. Look at the players. I'm going to say it again. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again because you two guys are here. We're not better than Man United. We're not better than Man City player for player. We're not better than Leicester player for player. We're not better than Tottenham player for player. Right? As horrible
Liverpool.
as that. We're not better than Liverpool player for player. Right? That's 5. Already, yeah, that's already 5 teams.
So that means even if you do well, you're 6.
Yeah, debatable on Everton. Probably, you know what I mean? Debatable on Everton. Yeah, right? So that's 6 teams immediately there, right? That if you start out at the start of the season and you said to everybody, hold up your hands in a court of law. And Chelsea, I forgot. That's 6. So that's a definite 6 there, with Everton as a 7th as a possibility. And if I say, hold up your hand in a court of law, are you better than them teams? Take away your Arsenal love and loyalty now. You have to tell the truth, or if you don't tell the truth, we're taking away your yard. We're taking away your house. You'd be like, yeah.
You didn't even, yeah, you did. Did you say Chelsea?
Yeah,
I've just included Chelsea.
Yeah,
So that's a definite 6. And if you add Everton in there, so if you say, I swear that, I have to admit those 6 are definitely better than us, player for player. Everton possibly, so that's 7. Where did we finish last year?
What was it? 8, 7, 8, 8,
8. Right. So when people are telling me about Robbie, stop, speaking. First of all, we got to get squads to compete.
Yes.
We got to get a squad that can compete before we start being honest. Because we're basing it off of us being Arsenal. Yes. Arsenal Football Club, the Arsenal I've grown to love, is a team that competes year in, year out. We might have
let me just
but we're there. But at the moment, there's a lot of teams better than us, man.
Rob, let me ask you something, right? At the start of the season, when we signed Partey, when you was dancing around the Emirates with Thomas Partey,
yeah.
And I remember you saying, I don't know if it was a 7 or 8, but you gave that window 7 or 8 out of 10, which is a good window. Would you have expected us going from 8th last season? I know the season hasn't finished, but at the moment we're 11th with 10 defeats.
No, I wouldn't. I hear what you're saying, and I wouldn't. And this has been a terrible season. 10 losses in a season is unacceptable. Simple as that. Even with the players we've got, even with all these teams, that's been unacceptable. I do factor in a little bit that this is a weird season, man. I mean, Liverpool, who hadn't lost a game at home for how many years? Their man are going back-to-back 3 defeats in a row or something like that at home. So that shows you that it's not the same as, and we've relied over the years on our home form. And our home form, I don't think there's any home games this season. I really don't think there's any home games. I just think it's games of football. So, but that's always got us out, much as people might want to say Emirates, quiet or whatever, that 60,000 fans in that stadium has got us over the line in many a game over the years. It's when Emery was there, it got him over the line in many a games, right? But, at the start of the season, I probably did say top 4. But being real now, it's not. We're not good enough for the top 4 yet. If we get top 4, it's a bit of a freak.
I think this season, that's what it's. I think that's the best thing to come out this season. That it's sad to say, but sometimes you know how many people have said the negativity around fans has been a part of the downfall of the club. It's exactly the opposite of that. It's the blind faith, hope, and optimism we've had that has led to this. We've all been blind for a period of time. Whether I was blind for the first 3 years, whether Curtis was for 7 years, whether Robbie was for 10 years, Kevin 2 years. We've all been blinded by the way this club has moved since we moved into the Emirates. There was always a time where we offered excuses for the way we was being ran, selling players, all of that. We need to pay off the stadium, yada, yada, yada. It was all bullshit, But this season, I've seen more fans realize the reality more than any other season before, And I understand it, after Tom, as much as, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. When Thomas Partey signed, I wanted to be over the moon too.
You're excited, don't you?
Yeah, you want to be. But I've kind of, even with Nicolas Pepe, go to my Welcome Nicolas Pepe video on my channel. I haven't taken it down. I'm singing Nicolas Pepe's name at the beginning of the video because I'm thinking that someone I wanted and I sold a little dream quickly and I lost my, direction a bit. And I thought, yes, but it wasn't to be. Thomas Partey, another top signing, but my reaction is very different. my reaction is like, well, other clubs have been better over the last 2-3 years in how they've directed. Leicester are not here because of last summer or summer 2019. They're here because of the last 5 years and the direction they've taken. After winning the league, they was never going to challenge the big boys with money. They haven't got the history, the muscle to do that. But what they can do is bring in players with potential who want to make a name for themselves in this league to a champion of the last, 7-8 years. I forgot when they last won it. Actually, 5-6 years. So they've utilized that and they've made a team capable of challenging for top 4. Us, we look at Partey, good signing. But you look at Willian, terrible signing. We look at Mari and Cedric, very good deals. We look at Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Eddie Nketiah, 2 players we could have sold in the summer for 15-20 mil, but we didn't. Now one's gone on loan and one's not even in the squad sometimes. So there's pros to the last year and cons, but we need to start seeing more pros for us to get hope. I need to see the first few weeks of the transfer window this year. We need to see action, we need to see movement. And that's because the wages are already off. We're already saving. So let's see proactivity in the window. And if we see that, then we can start saying, okay, that is a change, because being proactive would be a change for this club. So let's see that at the very least this summer.
Tell you what, Turkish, I'll tell you this much. Do you know the Arsenal fan base sometimes they're a little bit spoiled when it comes to names and all this, because Robbie mentioned Leicester before. Could you and Leicester are above us, and Leicester have been above us quite a while. Do you remember when Johnny Evans became available? Yeah. The Arsenal fan base went into meltdown. We don't want these ex-Man United players who are rubbish, XYZ. He's been a stalwart for Leicester. You're telling me he couldn't come into our back four and make it better?
The only thing with that, Kev, right, is we've had so many of them, man, over the years, man, like Sylvester, and then we get all these little cast-offs, right? That's why man don't want those no more. That's why people look at. But I hear what you're saying,
Robbie. My point is this: what happens in the summer has to happen. We're not in a position to start moaning about this guy isn't got a name or that guy. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Arteta's got to do it his way. He won't have 200 million like Abramovich gave to Lampard last summer. He won't have that. So he's got to move and shake how he feels is the best way. But as long as the character of the players that come in are correct, then we should see an upgrade on the pitch. Because at the start of the season, you always say to yourself, because of who Arsenal were, we want to finish in the top 4. If we could get top 4, great. But we've been let down season after season by the experienced players. This is the fact. The fact of the matter is we've lost 10 games and we're just past halfway of the league because the experienced players haven't turned up.
It's the young players like Saka
who are carrying it.
Had it not been for that guy's 19, and had it not, but that's where I look on it and I say I see those are the positive shoots for me. Saka, Martinelli, signing them to long contracts. That's where now at least I look on it and say, because I always say that you make mistakes, but it's what you learn from it. And they've learned from some mistakes, right? So they've tied their mandate down. That means that even if Saka was to move on, you got to come with 100 million or something like that, right? Whereas in the past, man's just meant to pick off all our best players for next to nothing. And those guys are going to be the foundation to help us to get back to where we want to be, right? But it's the profile of the players that we bring in. You are right, Kev. It's not just about big names, because even if you bring in a massive name player, just a massive name player in isolation, and like you said, Kev, without the foundation, it means nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you do need some. I think Arsenal needs like 2 more really top quality players, and then I think Arsenal needs like some other players that maybe we don't know their names, maybe we don't really, but they're going to be the guys that are going to come in and be those, like a Gabriel. You look at it, you're like, nobody, I wasn't really thinking of this guy, but I can see that there's the potential to be a really top. I could see in a couple of years' time, he could be one of the best centre backs in the league.
He needs a partner.
He needs a partner. Hopefully
needs a
that's
partner.
Saliba.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's Saliba.
Yeah.
You know? And it's him and Saliba, both very young, grow together. And then you've got the experience, got a couple of bit of experience behind them. That's when you're building something. That's when you're building something. It's tangible, it's sensible. And then you keep hold of those players. If City come in, you don't just say, yeah,
take them.
You know what I mean? You keep hold of them because you know why you keep hold of players? Because you want to win. And that's when I talk about the lack of ambition of our owners over the years. Because if I'm own a club and I want to win, I'm not selling Nasri and Fabregas. I'm like, nah, man, not for sale, bro. I want to win the league. That would do like Chelsea do. When they're worn out now and broke down now, actually, how much you want? You know, but you don't sell your car when you're driving that car in the car's Chris. A man coming up and you say, I want to buy it. You go, nah, man, I like this car.
Look, just on what you were saying, Rob. Look at the two of the biggest players we've had in the past 15. Two of the biggest, Fabregas and Van Persie. Yeah, they was very close to legend status. One still maybe it's a debate with Fabregas. You know, not for me, but others might say so. Those two players meant a lot to us, and those two players have come out since and told us some hard truths and realities that some still tend to overlook. Fabregas said he was on coaches on the way home, looking around and seeing no winners, seeing people on phones, people smiling, this and that. He said only him, Nasri, and one more person, I forgot who it was, felt like winners in the squad. Lo and behold, him and Nasri move on. Van Persie, he told us a story where he was showed the profit margin rather than, ambition. That pretty much shows that, that is the reality of this ownership. So until we see change, like what you're saying in terms of transfer windows, how we approach it, being shrewd in the market, like Leicester were, like Liverpool were, because let's not forget, Robertson, Trent are as big and vital to what they've done over the last 2 years as Alisson and Van Dijk were. It's just that they came in different times. The jigsaw required different size pieces, but without them, it wouldn't have been as fluid for sure. Even Mane at the time, I don't think many of us looked at Mane as the next best thing. Look at that. Salah coming back in. Everyone doubted him because of his first stint. There's so many things we have to take a step back from and just analyze the way the club does business now. Not maybe the names, but the way it does business.
Yeah, because it's not just about names no more.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not just about names. Look at that we're coming up against them at the weekend, Leeds. And look at some of the players, that guy Rafinha that they got in, right? There's a baller, right? Smart move, gone to Rennes, bought him already. Liverpool are interested. These teams are, because they can see, so it's about being smart in the market as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying as well about when the overtaking factor. Back in the day, it was us doing their moves, only really. Everybody else, like United, remember United, they just used to money, get Ronaldo, but we were the ones that were going out, the little gems that nobody but now everybody's got the data. Everybody knows the gems. As I said, my son can tell me who's the top scorers and who's had most assists and that just off of his FIFA. Yeah, it's not so. Now you got to level again up to stay ahead of the game, right? But we haven't done that over the years. I think we're starting, as I said, with some of the recent signings, like Tierney, even Torreira, even though it's not really worked out. I've seen what they're trying to do with the age, with the profile. I've seen it. The loaning of Odegaard, I think that was a very good loan. I hope that he plays at the weekend. I think he could be a good player. I want to see more players of that sort of profile, age. But then also to that, you need to add top quality and you need to add leaders. Proper leaders, man. Them man, when they're in the change rooms, them men are on about winning. They ain't no laughing and joking. You know what I mean? And Kev will know all about that because he had dressing rooms full up of them type of man there. If you come, imagine you want a player to be frightened to come back in that change room at half time if he ain't been performing. Because man's going to forget the manager. Players are going to be going, yo, bro, what are you doing? You think we come here to ramp around and mess around? We come here to win. And if you give your best and you've come to win and you lose, fair play. But over the years, we ain't had that, man. We've had the weak mentality players, man. That's just like They come, you know, especially towards the end of Arsene Wenger, we were comfortable.
Yeah.
All very lovely and nice. Everything was comfortable. You don't win nothing by being comfortable, man.
We got soft, Robbie. The club got soft. And do you know why it worked before? Because let me just tell you this, and you guys could tell me if you think I'm wrong. What we used to say behind the scenes at Arsenal was, we are the extension of the fans. So when we go on that pitch, the fans have to be able to trust us to do what we're supposed to do. And it won't always go right, Robbie, but that's where 1-0 from the Arsenal come. Because when it's not going well, we would still grind, get a goal, and we'll win the game. Fans love that because you know what? We didn't play well, but we won. Winning changes everything. Winning does. It makes such a massive difference. It makes people's weekends. It makes man go home and start kiss up the girlfriend and the wife as opposed to ignoring them. You know what I mean? It makes a massive difference in people's lives.
True.
We got soft. Teams used to come to the Emirates and put it on us, and we used to buckle. We buckled, and then obviously that famous saying from Troy Deeney, Arsenal lack cojones. He was right, Robbie.
Of course
Arsenal
he was
fans
right.
didn't like it, and yeah, they felt it away. But you know what? He was right.
He was 100% right. I remember one time, right, I was on a train, Kev, and I was on a train with Troy Deeney.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him were chatting the whole journey, like over about an hour and a half. Yeah. And he said to me, that was even before he came out with the cojones thing.
Yeah.
Right? He said to me, Robbie, he goes, yeah, you got some good players, man, but boy, you got players. They got no heart, no balls, man. He goes, seriously, because I'm telling you. He goes, and then he's like, he spoke about some players that he rates at the team.
Yeah.
But then he said, he pointed, I'm not going to say who.
You don't need to.
And there's a couple that are still there. And he pointed out some players. And he goes,
the right back.
He goes, Robbie, them players, they're weak, man. Weak. He goes, all you do, when the game starts, you just rough them up a bit and they don't want it.
It's all over.
Right? That's what the man told me. And I'm thinking, the man's talking about our players like this, man. But I couldn't disagree. Right? He was right. You're right, Kev. We didn't like it, but all of us knew. We're like, yeah, he's right. We ain't.
Yeah.
I've seen that improve as well. But we still need more. We need more Tierney's and people like that.
Yeah.
More players like that. And you know what I mean? Well, I'm fed up. That's one thing. You're right. That weak mentality of players, I'm done with, man. And them sort of players, they need to be moved on.
Robbie, you know the funny thing.
They want to win.
Robbie, you know the funny thing about seeing the team actually fight. Do you remember when we played Spurs at the Emirates under Emery, and we're two down?
Great game.
Yeah.
And then you saw the team fight. The team come back and fight and beat them 4-2. And the whole crowd were involved. But that's what Arsenal's about. That is what being an Arsenal player is about and should be about.
That's why I like that kid. I liked Guendouzi, but it's just his attitude, because I like the fighting. I'm like, for a youngster, it's fight. Woo.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of that. I want to see more. You know what I mean? We need to get in some leaders in that team, because we've really, over the years as well, lacked leadership on the pitch as well. You know what I mean? We've lacked that. You know, and even players that I thought, well, maybe possibly he could be that guy, they've then let you down. So we need leaders. We've got some good young players. Getting a few, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's all right us saying it. But that's the man who's got the money, and that's the man who not only just has the money. It's not just about money. He has the control. What does he want?
Do you know one thing I want to? Do you know one thing I wanted to?
Because, you know what I mean? I know what Curtis wants. I know what Turkish wants. I know what Kevin Campbell wants. I know what everybody who's watching this wants. I know what every Arsenal fan wants. I think there's no disagreement there. We might disagree on many things, right? But what does the one person I don't know what he wants is the owner of the football club, and he's the guy that matters most when it comes to achieving things.
Do you know something I wanted to ask you all, just briefly? Obviously, I put the title as has Arteta improved us? Because we're talking about ownership and the bigger picture and stuff. But obviously, if Kroenke, he doesn't look like he's going anywhere for now. So fingers are being pointed at the manager, and we're talking about a rebuild for a guy who's never managed at any level. What makes you feel like we have got the right manager? If you do think that, what's making you believe he can rebuild a club when he's never managed before?
Well, the first thing for me is what Robbie quite rightly said. Over the years, we could see it. Stevie Wonder could see it, that we needed a centre-back and a centre midfielder. Never got addressed under Wenger for all them years. Never got addressed under Emery. First chance Arteta gets, he brings in not only one centre, he brings in two centre-halves because he signed Pablo Mari, and he brings in Thomas Partey. That, for me, tells me he knows what he's doing. He doesn't have the experience of all the other great managers, no. But you know what? He's looking at it, and you could see what he's trying to do. We know that there's a lot of crap going on the inside, more than we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
But as a manager, do you know what? Sometimes when you plant that flower, you won't see it until it comes out the ground. But things are still going on. And unfortunately for Arsenal fans, this is where we are. He's planted that seed. We need to get to the summer, and we need to keep watering it and bringing new things in so we start to see the flower come out the ground. Because I believe getting rid of those players in January was so important for the football club. It would have been great if we could have got rid of them in the summer, but they didn't want to go. The players didn't want to go. We couldn't get rid of them anywhere. So I think what happened is they made a conscious decision, no matter what, we get these guys out of the football club. And luckily, they got them out of the football club. Yeah, we might have to suffer a bit more. But you know what? I'd rather suffer a bit more now, get to the summer, and start moving in the right direction from the summer.
I kind of, was you going to come in Turkish? Or I kind of agree with Kev, right? In that we could have got two types of manager in, right? So you could have brought in a manager that's just going to come and try friend up the players that are here and try and get them all on board and get through, right? Or the other type of manager, which I think Arteta is a manager that come in and he said from day one he walked in that door, and that's why I'm kind of giving this guy time. He said, yo, any man here don't want to play and do what we want to do to get this club back to where it would want to be, they're gone. And I have to, if you kind of analyze what's been going on, he's been a man of his word. Anybody that's not been down with the cause, they've gone. And his ruthless methods that he used, and let's be real, he's been very ruthless, man, with Ozil, didn't play him. Even sometimes I'll be coming on and going, yo, well, come on, man, we can't create Jack. At least put the man in the team, and other fans are saying that. Arteta stuck to his guns and said, nope, you ain't playing. Socrates, you ain't playing. I don't care how hard you train. And Mustafi, you're hardly playing. And Kolasinac, you're barely playing as well. And he forced them, man, out the door. They would have stayed till the end of the season, no doubt. He forced them. So that worked. He's been very ruthless. Guendouzi, well, you're going to run up your mouth and you don't want to be down with what I'm doing. I know you're a good young player and that. You're off you go. Loan. So I see a guy that he has a distinct plan in his head. May not be working out as well, at the moment. As I said, it's unacceptable the amount of games we've been losing and that. But I want to see more what he can do because, and like Kev said, he's addressed some of those areas. I want to see what he can do. I want to see what he's going to do in the summer. When the summer comes, it's going to be really interesting to see if he continues that sort of streak. But analyze, go a bit deeper than just the results and look at some of the things, the really difficult decisions to go head to head up against Ozil. The majority of fans love Ozil at this club, and he went head to head with him and forced him out. And no matter what he said, you ain't playing. And it's what he said when he walked through the door. So I'm like, I want to see next season what he can do. Listen, it's all a results-based business. If he lost every game from now till the end of the season, or lost nearly more, and we got knocked out of the Europa League, and people might say then he might not last. But if he can negotiate through till the end of the season, I would give him the summer, see what he does, and then let's see, you know, because I don't know, some of the other managers that were out there that we've been linked with, would they have done any better? As I said, they might have come in and friended up some of those players there and got them playing, but we'd still be in the same year's time. It's the same old thing. You know, could have come in and made Ozil play a bit better, extend his contract, be back in the same thing. Them man, they needed to go, all of them. Simple as. It's horrible to say about a man's professional career, but it was just how it was. I mean, they were done. And he's had to really negotiate a lot of really difficult decisions. But as a young manager, he showed a lot of mettle in it. And remember, we've got to give him a little bit of credit in the bank because he did win that FA Cup. Yeah? I was arguing with an Arsenal fan the other day. He said, no credit in the bank for that. I said, listen, you got Tottenham fan them running down the Carabao Cup.
True.
Running that down. Yeah, the man come, he just turned up. He won the FA Cup in his first season. I said it to you at the start of the show, Curtis, when you're giving me comparisons with Emery. I said, Emery didn't win no trophy. Yeah. He won a FA Cup. So you've got to give him credit for that. That's where, and I think he has got a little bit of credit off of a lot of fans. I think had he have not done that at the end of the season and finished 8th and we were doing what we were doing now, I think there'd be the majority of fans calling for his head. But I think because of that, and because of they've seen some of the mess he's had to deal with, it's been clear. This pandemic has made it clear to everybody. They've seen what some of what I think a lot of fans have turned around and said, you know what? Nah, I hate what's going on at the moment, but you know what? There's a guy said to me the other night, he said, I hate what's going on at the moment, but I'm not there. So I'll take it for this season. I'll take it for this season, but next season I'll take a bit of, you know what I mean? Because he has benefited from that a lot, but no fans being there. Because if fans was there seeing what we were seeing now, he'd be gone.
You think he'd be gone?
Yeah, I think 10 games. If fans was in the game, no. I don't think they'd have it. But then I don't think we'd have lost 10 games because I think, as I said, our fortress, our get out of jail card over the last few years, if you really go and analyse it, has been our home form. Not many teams come to the Emirates and beat us, right? And that's a lot to do with the fans. People might say it's quiet and this and that, but the fans and 60,000 people being in that ground, it makes it, you know, it may not be intimidating like a, you know, Celtic Park or something like that where all the fans are, but it's still intimidating for you as a player, surely, that you're going into that. That's a big deal. That's one of, at the start of the season, you'll be looking on the thing and say, yeah, we've got to go to the Emirates, man. That's a big game. So I think with no fans, every game's just been the same. It's just been, as I said, every game's a game. So, but I'm with Kev, man. I give him to the next, you know, let's see what he does next season. Give him a chance. Because he's had a lot to clear up.
Turkish, I know we've spoke a few times about it, but what do you make of Arteta just focusing on him?
Just on him, even with just on him, you can look at it different ways. Like there's ways you can look at it where Evan and Rob are completely right. You know, if I ask, for example, is our squad better than it was when he picked it up? I'd say yes. I guess that's got something to do with signings. I know Willian's included in there before the chat goes wild, but you've got to step back and understand that overall, if our team is better, then yes, we've made some mistakes in there, but overall, there's an improvement there. Are we better defensively than when he picked us up? I'd have to say yes. Are we better in transition? Again, I'd have to say yes. Are we better attacking? No. So out of the 4 aspects I said, I'd say 3 of those are in a positive light. Out of all the competitions he had a chance of winning, having taken over, he won 1 out of 2 because I'd say we had a chance of winning the Europa League. We should be able to say that. It is a bit laughable considering circumstance, but he won 1 out of the 2 trophies he could, and top four, I don't think anyone expected top four from him taking over. It was all about this season. Obviously, this season in itself, if you judge him on this season, then of course you're going to be like, well, he isn't ready for the job. He hasn't got the necessary experience. He's made some decisions that, you know, don't make any sense. But you've got to kind of look at the bigger picture, the longer period. And he's had to change formation 4 times in 11 months. One of those formation changes came this season. You know, at the end of the day, it might not be a big thing to some, but completely changing a formation where you're utilizing your fullbacks as the main transition point to attack, to the middle where Partey is your only addition. You lack creativity because you didn't get a war, and you was kind of pushed into it by fans' pressure, including myself. We all wanted to see, it was only 3 months ago, we all wanted to see Ober up top. We wanted to see a 4-3-3, and we all thought that would solve the problems. That, in fact, led us down those 10 games without winning, and the lack of creativity. But us fans won't sit there and say, maybe we was wrong. Us fans will go there and be like, what the hell is he doing? Why isn't he changing it up?
He got it wrong. He got it wrong.
No, we got it wrong as well. You know, it's such a mess. That there's no right answer, Curtis. Do you get what I'm saying? And I've asked you this before. Do you trust this board to replace Arteta with the man you want, Curtis? And you've said no. So that means would getting rid. Yeah. So exactly. So would getting rid of Arteta be the problem solver? Unfortunately, not. Because if it was, I'd be on it too. Because it's just a flick of a switch. Oh, get rid of Arteta and we find the direction. Yes, please. I'm on board. But if you can't tell me that 100%, it could set us back 2 years because the players he's brought in, they might not suit the next manager. Like the players Emery brought in hasn't obviously suited him. Torreira, Guendouzi being 2 examples. We can't keep on going in this rotation like, you know, we're Chelsea. At least Chelsea get titles out of their constant changes of managers because they spend the necessary money. Their owner is essentially their manager. You know, their owner wins them titles. Their owners won them the last, you know. It's the truth, you know. That's where it comes from. So I just think that, am I Arteta in? No. Am I Arteta out? No. But he can be critiqued, yes. It's just that he is not the be-all and end-all of the problems.
No, you make a great point. And listen, man, I want to big up all you three for coming on, man. It's been a great show. I'm going to wrap it up. But
I blame Robbie. Robbie was making something.
Robbie, just buy the club, man. Get Kroenke out of here, please.
No, I blame Robbie for getting me on. For getting me on here. I tell you, I was me and Turkish were happy in the chat, Turkish, weren't we?
No, you was both writing too much. I thought I can't keep clicking on this, man. Come on.
Listen, you know what? And I've really enjoyed this, man. Some really great opinions and great voices, man. We all love Arsenal. That's the thing, man. We all love Arsenal. We just want to get back to where we know we should be. You know, because we're not talking about no little club, 10,000 fans a week or something like that. You know, I mean, this is a huge club in London, and you know, I just don't like the way it's being run at the moment. You know, that has to change. That has to change. I don't know what we can do. But all we can do is keep talking about it and keep it out there. You know what I mean? Because you know, it's not just Arteta. And I'm going to stick with him for now. I know you. Listen, I mean, going right back to the start of the show when you spoke about Mourinho. I mean, could you imagine him having to deal with this? It'd be civil war. It would have been civil war.
He would have lost the dressing room a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he would have lost it a long time ago.
I'd have taken Big Carlo. I'd have taken Ancelotti, man.
But again, sorry just to jump in, but these big managers have reputation. And the reputation they have, they need money to build. Arsenal don't have the money. Ancelotti went to Everton because he got promised the money. Yeah, you've got the money. This is the plan. You've got the money. At Arsenal, whether it's Allegri.
How much they paying Ancelotti as well?
10 million a year?
Yeah, 10 million a year, something like that.
And how much they paying Arteta?
I think 4. Oh, is it 6?
6.
Listen, whether it's 3 or 6, what comes with Ancelotti is the name and the brand of being that manager. So it's no point bringing that manager in unless you back him. It's no point bringing in Mourinho unless you back him. It's no point bringing Allegri in unless you back him. The owner is not going to go in his own pocket and get the club in FFP problems. It's not going to happen. So the next best thing is he looked at Arteta. Arteta could come into the budget of what he wants to pay wages-wise, and he can go in there as an ex-player, ex-captain of the club and root it out. He has to go in and root it out because you know what? Sometimes it's better for the guy unassuming than the big name manager, because I'm sure Ozil and them boys would have been playing for him for a year. Do you understand what I mean? They would have been playing for him for a year.
Saying, up. The manager who comes in and friends them up.
Yeah, cozy up.
Yeah,
exactly. And we're no further forward next season.
Yeah.
So what he has to do, he came in, he ripped it up, and it did buy him some time winning an FA Cup. But now we're starting to see this is the real Arsenal we're seeing now. We're seeing the real Arsenal with experienced players who can't perform. The club's being led by 3 youngsters, who are our better players, or should I say most consistent players too, are 3 youngsters. Us as a football club, we should be embarrassed. And people who come on and talk about, is Arteta, we're getting worse? No, we were already bad because we were standing still. So that's what needs to be addressed.
Let's just hope he can rescue something from the season. But Kev, Robbie, Turkish, listen, make sure you subscribe, people. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to Don Robbie's channel. Great show you had yesterday of expressions. Subscribe to Turkish London. Subscribe to one Kevin Campbell. Appreciate you all coming on, and I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m.